Hi, welcome to another sneak peek Saturday at the Alameda Free Library. My name is Jenny, and today we're going to read a little bit from The Girl in the Red Coat by Roma Ligocka. Like always, I'm gonna read you the back so you have an idea what this book will be about. This is a biography. So, as a child in German-occupied Poland, Roma Ligocka was known for the bright strawberry red coat she wore against a tide of gathering darkness. 50 years later, Roma, an artist living in Germany, attended a screening of Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List and instantly knew that the girl in the red coat, the only splash of color in the film, was her. Thus began a harrowing journey into the past as Roma Ligocka sought to reclaim her life and put together the pieces of a shattered childhood. The result is a remarkable memoir, a 50-year chronicle of survival and its aftermath. With brutal honesty, Ligocka recollects a childhood at the heart of evil. The flashing black boots, the sudden executions, her mother weeping, her father were vanished, then her own harrowing escape, and the strange twists of fate that allowed her to live on into the haunted years after the war. Powerful, lyrical, and unique among Holocaust memoirs, The Girl in the Red Coat eloquently explores the power of evil to twist our lives along after we have survived it. Our lives long after we survived it. It is a story for anyone who has ever known the darkness of an unbearable past and searched for the courage to move forward into the light. I have read this book so many times, I don't even remember how often. It's really, really good, and yeah, I'm excited to read you a little bit from it, and I hope you like it too. Okay. The Hotel Negresco in Nice on France's Côte d'Azur presides over the Promenade des Anglais like an enormous white ship. Its white awnings flutter slightly in the morning breeze. The sea is an almost supernatural blue. Inside the hotel, page boys in bright uniforms with feathers in their hats dash across the red carpets. I walk through the enormous entrance lobby with its gleaming marble floor, past large flower vases from which red roses billow, and into the breakfast room. The room is round, decorated entirely in tones of pink and brown. The effect is that of an antique Biedermeier carousel. White horses turn to the music of a barrel organ playing gentle waltzes. Countless little light bulbs illuminate the scene. The paintings on the walls show pretty landscapes done in warm pastel tones. A life-size doll in a quaint costume stands in the middle of the room. She has long curly hair and her mouth is locked in a smile. The windows are framed by heavy red velvet drapes. The Venetian blinds lowered halfway. Sunbeams paint golden stripes on the floor and on the pink tablecloths. The waitresses all look like the big doll. They wear the same pink skirts, revealing lace-edged underpants. Their smiles are real, if a little tired. They bustle back and forth. The room smells of chocolate and raspberries, of coffee and perfume. I sit down at one of the tables. The circular breakfast buffet in the center of the room looks like a work of art, and immediately it puts me into an euphoric mood. There are raspberries, strawberries, chunks of pineapple, red, yellow, and green melon slices, pink tinked ham artistically shaped into rosettes, salmon sliced wafer thin and folded into stars, tiny halves of quail eggs topped with dots of caviar, jewel-like Petits fours, mounds of gleaming raisin roads, fresh orange juice flowing like a waterfall over a cliff of ice cubes, jams and preserves of many colors, honey and balls of butter. And that smell of raspberries and chocolate. I close my eyes. The sun's rays play on my eyelashes and scatter into golden dust. I feel carefree and happy in this place, although I won't admit to this, for I am a superstitious old Jewish woman. I think of the beach and of the green chaise lounge waiting for me there, of the cocktails the waiter will bring me while the sun warms my skin, and I soak up and dissolve into the blue of the sky and the smell of the sea. For lunch, I'll have a salad nice with a glass Prosecco. And then there is that beautiful handbag I saw at Sonia Reikier. An elegant couple sits down at a table near mine, a little girl in tow. She stands staring at the life-size doll and then finally joins her parents. The mother has placed a huge goblet filled with strawberries before her, but the little girl doesn't eat. She merely puts her spoon into the glass, absently stirs the berries around and gazes at the doll, which keeps smiling its wooden smile. The little girl has dark curly hair and large black eyes, ringed by dark shadows. She's perhaps 5 years old and looks very fragile. She pays no attention to me. Suddenly, I feel as though I am sitting across a table from myself in another life, another time. I look at the little girl I once was or might have been, and I know that she has everything I never had. A happy, safe childhood, a beautiful home and a garden, strawberries, chocolate, toys, and parents who love her, parents who have enough money to pay for trips, piano lessons, and birthday parties. The life of the little girl passes before me like a technicolor film of the life fate has cheated me of. I feel no envy, just the sharp pain of an old, unhealed wound. The little girl has the right to this splendid, wholesome world, but I am an outsider, only passing through. I really don't belong here. Suddenly, I feel cold and begin to tremble, gripping the soft cushions of my chair. The little lights on the carousel begin to flicker. The barrel organ music goes louder and faster, faster, round and round, pulling me into the abyss of memory, back into the dark hole, the ghetto. It is always cold in the ghetto, ice cold, inside the house as well as out. Inside there's only the one kitchen stove for all of us and almost no coal. Outside, snow blankets the ground. There's no summer, no seasons at all, and no sunlight. Everything is dark and gray, always. The ghetto has 4 large gates. We are not allowed to pass through the gates. It's absolutely forbidden. A streetcar runs on the main street, the number 3. We are not allowed to get on it. That's why it makes no stops. It simply goes right on through. The people sitting in the streetcar stare at us through the steamed-up windows. Once a boy throws a few loaves of bread out of the streetcar window. They fall at our feet. We stand on the street, freezing. Many, many people. There are people everywhere. Some have large dogs and carry guns and just watch. They shoot at who they want to, maybe at me too. We're the others, the Jews. We have to wait all the time. The people with the guns have gold buttons and black shiny boots that crunch in the snow when they march by. But mostly you can't hear that because they are constantly yelling and shouting. They yell, we obey. Anyone who doesn't obey is killed. I know that even though I am still very little, so little that I reach only up to the knees of the man in the shiny boots, when one of them comes near me, and I hear the black boots crunching and see the dog with the sharp teeth panting right next to my head, I feel even smaller than usual. I try to make myself invisible. Sometimes it actually works, and I dissolve in the city, in the icy wind and the yelling, and my grandmother's cold, thin hand. She holds me tight, but I'm not there anymore. Grandmother is always there. When the waiting is over, she takes me back into the kitchen, then takes off my red coat. It's a beautiful coat made of soft red wool, and it has a hood. She sewed it for me herself. With her thin, cold hands, grandmother warms my feet. I can't feel them anymore. She sets me on top of the table while she stirs a pot on the stove. Then she comes back with a bowl of steaming porridge that has little lumps swimming in it. She tries to feed me, but I turn my head away. The porridge is disgusting, the lumps revolting. I don't want to eat it. I feel sick. The other people scold me. The steamy kitchen is full of noisy strangers and sweaty, smelly bodies. One of the men grabs the bowl from my grandmother's hand and swallows the gruel in one gulp. My grandmother doesn't say anything. She sits down at her sewing machine again and clatters away. I'm glad the man ate the disgusting stuff. At some point, my mother comes home. It's already dark outside. I'm lying in my little crib but can't sleep because people are everywhere, making all kinds of sounds. They snuffle, groan, grumble, and curse. They slurp and smack their lips, and some of them cry. My mother embraces me wearily. Her soft brown hair no longer smells of flowers the way it used to. It smells funny and sharp. You smell funny, I say. My mother smiles, but I can tell she is sad. She's always sad. That's just the disinfectant, she says. What's that? I ask. She doesn't answer. Instead, she pulls her suitcase out from under the bed, takes out a small bottle, and opens it carefully. She lets a drop fall on her wrist and rubs it in. Then she closes the bottle, hides it again in the suitcase, and lifts me out of my bed. Better? She asks. Now she smells like flowers again. Hello, Toysa, I'm back. It's my father. He comes into the room, lifts me up, gives me a kiss. My father has a deep voice and his eyes are black like mine. He embraces my mother. You smell good, he says. I brought some potatoes. They go into the kitchen. That's where the other people are. I hear the voices, but I can only understand fragments of words because there is so much noise. I have the feeling that they are talking about me. Those eyes, says my mother. If only she had blue eyes like Irene. And her hair is so dark, says another woman, whose voice I don't recognize. That's not good for getting by, but maybe we could do something about that. Poison? My mother asks. She sounds horrified. No, my father cries out, and there's a dull thud which makes me flinch. He probably hit the table with his fist. He does this sometimes when he's angry. Maybe he's angry with me because I'm not the way I ought to be. Shots ring out in the street. A scream pierces the night. The conversation in the kitchen stops. After a while, they begin to talk again, and finally, I fall asleep. Suitcases, pocketbooks, bundles, and an overturned baby carriage are strewn all over the street. Why doesn't anybody pick them up? Grandmother pulls me away. It's still snowing. We stand in the street and wait. We stand here every day. Every day is the same. Every night is the same. There's no sleeping in the ghetto. There's no dusk and no dawn. Only boots coming up the stairs. Dogs that bark. Men who yell. Doors that are ripped open. People who scream, beg, implore, moan, grumble, and curse. The light never really goes out. It is never quiet. And every day, every night, strangers arrive, more and more of them. They talk, jostle, and push, and they touch me. There are always a lot of people around me. Outside in the narrow streets, inside in the small and dirty kitchen where the women fight for a spot at the stove, and in the big dark room that we share with the strangers and where grandmother sits calmly at her sewing machine and sews. My little bed stands there too. A different family lives in each corner of the room. There's no bathroom. The toilet is in the hall, and it is used by everyone and constantly clogged. The stink is horrible. It makes me sick every day, every time I go in there. Still, I never let grandmother go by herself. She might not come back. And that's where I'm gonna stop for today. This is a very heavy read, obviously. It is about the Holocaust and survival and the life after, but I would definitely recommend this. Again, it's called The Girl in the Red Coat. It's a biography, autobiography, and it is can be found in our new section. It is written by Roma, Ligocka. So if you are interested, feel free to come to the library, check it out, place a hold on it, whatever you prefer. And I see you next Saturday. Thanks for listening.